Right, today we're going to look at SD 50.23 Suddhika Bharadwaja Sutta. The discourse to Suddhika Bharadwaja S7.7. So this is from the Samyutta Nikaya, and here again we have one more member from the very famous and saintly family of the Bharadwajas, which goes back to the Buddha's time. Again here, Suddhika simply means the pure. So we're not sure whether it's his real name or not. Maybe it's just what's called an adjective to a kind of nickname by which we remember this very special saint. So he's going to be an arahat at the end of the teaching. In this volume we see all those great names from the Bharadwaja family who come to listen to the Buddha. And just by listening, their karma ripen, and then they decide to renounce the world, to become monks. Then they're going to solitary retreat to practice and become arahats, just like that. So it is a very kind of a very happy kind of situation where you hear the Dhamma and the results come right away, the ripening of past karma. The translation starts on page 76. The discourse to Suddhika Bharadwaja as 7.7. Originating in Savatthi, then the Brahmin Suddhika Bharadwaja approached the Blessed One. Having approached, he exchanged greetings with the Blessed One. When the courteous and friendly exchange was concluded, the Brahmin Suddhika Bharadwaja sat down at one side. Sitting thus at one side, the Brahmin Bharadwaja said this verse before the Blessed One. So here we see this Brahmin reflecting, making a reflection, sharing his thoughts with the Buddha. And he says, no Brahmin is ever purified in the world. Though he is virtuous and observes austerities, the one with knowledge and conduct is purified. None other in this generation. Now this is a very remarkable statement to be made by a Brahmin in the Buddha's time. But then again, times were changing, because in the Buddha's time we see this very prosperous period where the kings were very powerful, the empires were very big, and the country or the countries were very peaceful. And there was a lot of change going on. A kind of a rise in knowledge. People are more free, think for themselves. They are practicing the Dhamma. They have a chance to become spiritually independent themselves, to even spiritually awaken. And of course, there is still the old school, the Brahmins, the priests, who they're like the established church, if you like. But amongst the Brahmins themselves, the priest class, you find that there are those young, intelligent Brahmins, old, intelligent also, who feel they should be free, or they understand better what religion should mean, what spirituality should mean. So here is one of those Brahmins who he's called Suddhika because he's talking about what really makes a person pure. The old Brahmins claim they are born pure. They maintain their purification by rituals, by mantras and so on. So, but this Brahmin says, no, that's not the way. You don't become pure through rituals. You become pure through understanding, through your behavior. This is an amazing new statement. This is a statement of the new world, if you like. In fact, we have historians who say that this is called the axial age, right? In other words, it's a turning point in world history generally, where people are turning away from the old priestly religions to a more kind of individual search for truth, represented by people like Socrates in Greece, and then you have those prophets in Israel, like Isaiah and so on. Then you have, of course, the Buddha in India, Confucius in China, and so on, and Zoroaster in Persia. So this is one of those statements where it's very remarkable for the times, where this Brahmin says purity comes from your actions, not through rituals or even birth. So he says one verse, and the Buddha replies in 3 verses. The Buddha says, much as one may mutter and chant, one is not a Brahmin by birth. If one is rotten within, defiled, supporting oneself fraudulently, right, so it's quite clear. This is more of a social statement, right? We can pretend to be a false sadhu. There's lots of this kind of priests in India even today. If you are lazy or if you're poor, you just don some orange robes and keep your hair long, and there you are. You get free food and so on. It's not there's nothing wrong with that, but the important thing is the whole idea is to renounce the world and to practice, to keep to the precepts. If you do that, yeah, that's fine. And the Buddha said, in that case, you eat the country's alms worthily. So, in other words, it is fair that society supports the renunciant who keeps themselves pure by conduct, who seek knowledge and wisdom, and they are at peace with themselves and become good examples to others. So this is the idea, not to take religion as a kind of business to exploit the others. Then the Buddha continues, and that was just now was verse S630, and then now S361. The Buddha says, Kshatriya, Brahmin, Vaisya, Shudra, outcast or scavenger, if one exerts effort, resolute, ever steady in exerting, one attains the supreme purity. Know this to be so, O Brahmin. So here the Buddha is talking, no matter what class you're born into, no matter what class you come from, whether you are a noble or a priest, from the priestly class, from the merchant class, or from the working class, or even you're an outcast, very low caste, scavenger is the lowest of the caste. It doesn't matter. If you put in effort, you will attain that level of awakening. Here, effort, steady in exerting, all refer to mental effort, meditation, where you purify your heart and mind, you're at peace with yourself. And the supreme purity here, of course, refers to nirvana. So, actually it's 2 verses, not 3, because the last verse is an alternate translation to make it in what's called idiomatic English. So this S631 is an alternate translation, is into more flowing English. One of the ruling or priestly or business class, or a worker, one of low class, or a dirt cleaner. If one puts forth effort, determined, who always acts with firm determination, one will win the highest good. Know this to be true, O Brahmin. Right? So the Buddha just gives 2 verses, and this Brahmin is so happy. He's so inspired. Something happens to him. This big turnaround in his consciousness. Look at section 7. When this was said, the Brahmin Sudika Bharadwaja said this to the Blessed One, excellent Master Gotama, just as if one were to place upright what had been overturned, were to reveal what was hidden, were to show the way to one who was lost, or were to hold up a lamp in the dark so that those with eyes could see forms. In the same way, in numerous ways, has the Dharma been made clear by the Blessed One, by the Blessed Gotama. I go to the Blessed Gotama for refuge, to the Dhamma and to the community of monks. May the Blessed One give me the going forth, give me the ordination. So here we see right away this Sudika Bharadwaja feels ready to renounce the world. So you can imagine his mind is how happy and radiant it is at that time. Verse 8, and the Brahmin Sudika Bharadwaja received the going forth and the ordination in the Blessed One's presence. Of course, here we are not told who ordained this? The Bharadwajas, probably a group of monks did that, and the Buddha is the witness. And then comes the famous verse, how he became an Arhat. Then, not long after he was ordained, the Venerable Sudika Bharadwaja, dwelling alone, aloof, diligent, exertive, and resolute, in no long time at all, right here and now, having realized it for himself through direct knowledge, attain and dwell in the supreme goal of the holy life, for the sake of which sons of family rightly go forth from the household life into homelessness. He directly knew birth is destroyed, the holy life has been lived. Done is what is to be done. There is no more of this state of being. And the Venerable Sudika Bharadwaja became one of the Arhats. So this is the story of Sudika Bharadwaja, how he meets the Buddha, says something, shares his thoughts with the Buddha, and the Buddha responds, and that changes his whole life. He becomes a monk, he practices meditation, and becomes an Arhat, fully awakened, free from suffering. So let us end our study with a short reflection. As we live as laymen, we can still practice the Buddha's teaching. Of course, there are many wonderful teachings the Buddha has given us as a layperson, whether running a family or even as a single layperson. Even as a layperson, we can still keep the celibate rules. So we have something like the 4 precepts or 5 precepts with the rule of celibacy. In other words, the 3rd precept is that of keeping ourselves celibate, just like a monk. So this kind of training helps us to focus ourselves, our heart in meditation, so that we are more at peace and we are nearer to the path to awakening, walking on it, on the path of awakening, and in no long time, even in this life itself, to attain stream winning at least. Reflecting in this way is very good karma. By the power of such karma, may we be blessed with wisdom and courage, and the opportunity to aspire to become at least stream winners in this life itself. And by the power of the 3 jewels too, may we be blessed with good health and strength, wisdom and a clear mind, to attain awakening in this life itself. And also let us send out our loving kindness on this peaceful occasion to our families and loved ones, and those who have been kind to us, that they may be well and happy. And to those who are practicing the Dharma, may they see the true teaching in this life itself too. And also by the power of the 3 jewels, may those who are lost, those who are seeking the Dharma, and those who are confused in any way, may they see the true teaching in this life itself too. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.